Ancient history, modern history, and history extension. The study of ancient history engages students in an investigation of life in early societies, recorded history from about 3000 BCE up to the fall of the Roman Empire in 476 BCE, based on the analysis and interpretation of physical and written remains. You might be familiar with the case of the Iceman. Discovered in 1991, he's now become the subject of the world's oldest murder mystery. With new technology and new understanding leading us to a great deal of very, very interesting information about who this person actually was and what happened to him. This is an example of an ancient history study. The study of modern history engages students in an investigation of the forces that have shaped the world, based on the analysis and interpretation of sources. It offers students the opportunity to investigate the possible motivations and actions of individuals and groups and how they have shaped the world politically, culturally, economically, and socially. This very famous historical figure, what was his motive? What did he do? Why did he want to do it? And how could all of this have happened? The students who should study ancient and modern history are the students who are interested in history. They enjoy the subject for their own interest. These areas coming up on screen now are all the areas that will benefit from somebody having the knowledge and the skills that history courses offer. And finally, travel. Your experience of travel is greatly enhanced when you understand the history of the places that you're going to. The skills developed by ancient and modern history are the skills of successful tertiary study. The knowledge and understanding, along with research and communication skills that students acquire through studying senior history, provide a firm foundation for further study, the world of work, activity-informed citizenship, and for lifelong learning. Students develop transferable skills associated with the process of historical inquiry, such as interpreting, analysing and weighing evidence, synthesising evidence from a variety of sources, and developing reasoned and evidence-based arguments. An example of this is the case of Boudica. She led the uprising against the Roman occupation of Britain, but it just happens that the amount of information we have about her largely comes from the Roman writer Tacitus. Now, Tacitus happens to be related to the governor that Boudica rebelled against. And in all of this information, we don't actually have the voice of Boudica herself. So it's up to us to unpack these events and to find her voice. This is an example of an ancient history study. An example of a modern history study is looking at the case of President John F. Kennedy. He was assassinated in public while touring Dallas on the 22nd of November, 1963. The alleged assassin himself was gunned down by a nightclub owner with some pretty dubious connections. So since then, the debate has raged about whether this was an assassination or a legitimate lone wolf event. Ancient and modern history are Category A subjects, and they can be used in the calculation of your ATAR. In preliminary modern history, you'll do 4 topics: investigating modern history, 1 real-world example of how modern history is constructed, 2 case studies investigating aspects of the modern world, such as the American Civil War and Cuban Revolution, and the shaping of the modern world, 1 example of forces and ideas that have shaped the modern world, such as World War I. In HSC Modern History, you'll do 4 topics. The core study is the dictators. 1 national study, such as the United States. 1 study in peace and conflict, such as War in the Pacific or World War II in Europe. And 1 study in change in the modern world, such as civil rights in the USA. In preliminary ancient history, you will do 4 topics. Investigating ancient history, one real-world example of how ancient history is constructed, such as ancient human remains. 2 case studies, such as Boudica or the Silk Road. Ancient societies, where you look at one key feature of 2 ancient societies, like slavery in Egypt and Rome, or 2 key features of one ancient society, like war and weapons in Rome. In HSC Ancient History, you'll do 4 topics. The core study is the cities of Vesuvius, the Italian cities that were destroyed and buried when the Vesuvius volcano erupted. Ancient societies, 1 such as Sparta, 1 personality such as Alexander the Great, and 1 historical period such as 4th century Greece. Knowledge and skills of ancient and modern history are practical, real-world knowledge and skills. Ancient and modern history courses engage students in practical ways. There's 2 assessment tasks and 1 formal examination in preliminary and HSC Ancient and Modern History. Knowledge and skill development using different types of learning activities and assessments are structured and scaffolded, and our student presenters provide some information about this in their videos. There's no major work. Now, you may have had a go at making little terracotta warriors in Year 7. You may have made a model medieval Japanese village in Year 8. You may have divined water in Year 9. Another example of hands-on history, Year 10 history visiting Bonagilla Migrant Centre for the We Come to Australia unit. All being well, that will be happening again for our current Year 10 this year in 2020. In preliminary and ancient modern history, you keep learning in hands-on ways. And we tend to find our history students also inject a little bit of humour. So we talk about using current modern technologies in ancient and modern history. We also talk about the importance of ancient history or travel and understanding travel, where you're going. Ancient history and modern history classes tend to be engaged, a pretty vibrant bunch. History Extension is a 1-unit course of additional history. There's 2 topics, a choice of ancient, modern or medieval, 1 research project, and we have a bit of a talk about that at the end of the preliminary course to see if you might be interested in doing that additional unit. Thank you.
Ancient, in a couple of words. Go.
It's ancient and it's good. Do it.
Fun. It's mad. Interesting. Yep.
Is it what you expected?
No,
No.
but that's a good thing.
So what stuff are you learning?
We're learning about ancient remains,
Dead
about
bodies.
the Silk Road. Yeah, dead bodies. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's vast. Our history
Yeah.
and how we got to society today.
And Celtic culture.
And you can choose, it's based on your class. If you want to do something, talk about it. We'll probably do it.
And Miss Atkinson is amazing.
She's mad.
Would you recommend it to others?
Yes.
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 In a heartbeat?
In a
Definitely.
heartbeat.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
Yep. Big heartbeat.
Why did you choose modern history?
Aria?
Well, because I always liked history.
I love modern history. I've always been fascinated in the world wars, you know, the Industrial Revolution, the Meiji Restoration. All that's been really interesting to me, and it's been really nice to delve deeper into that.
Yeah, it's been really fun. We learn all about different things.
Not just war.
Not just war. It's really fun, and if you choose this subject to study war, you'll be getting way more out of it.
Is it what you expected, modern history?
Better than what we expected.
It's
Yes.
mad.
It's great.
And would you recommend it to others?
Yes.
Definitely.